This is my final video on how to write different kinds of sentences. And in this video, we're going to look at a compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence happens when you have two independent clauses plus one or more dependent clauses. I want you to think about this as your stereotypical 1950s American family. There's a mom and a dad and two children. So the question becomes, how do we make all of these things peacefully coexist in the same house? And you see, we have an example sentence here. After the game, the coaches and the players will go eat pizza, and the parents are welcome too if they eat at different tables. The first piece of advice I would give you here is find your independent clauses. Remember, these are the things that can function as a sentence. They don't need the help of everything else in the sentence. And our independent clauses here are the coaches and the players will go eat pizza. I could capitalize that T, put a period after pizza. I have a sentence. The parents are welcome too. Same exact principle here. I could capitalize the T, put a period after two, and I have a sentence here. My dependent clauses are after the game. Notice you're kind of waiting on me to finish that thought. That's how you know you have a dependent clause. There's something missing that keeps this from being a sentence on its own. Same thing's happening here when I say if they eat at different tables. There's something missing that's keeping this clause from functioning as a real sentence. And so what we're going to do in compound complex sentences is we're going to take the rules that we learned about in the compound sentence video, and we're going to take the rules that we learned about in the complex sentence video, and we're going to put these rules together to make a strong sentence. So let's go back to our example sentence here. After the game, the coaches and the players will go eat pizza, and the parents are welcome too if they eat at different tables. Take just a minute and see if you can see where you would put the commas in this sentence. All right, let's check and see if you did it correctly. The first comma you should put in this sentence comes between game and the. This is following my complex sentence rule that I have a comma in between the dependent and the independent clause when the dependent clause comes first. We call this our D comma I rule in that video. So if you put a comma between game and the, pat yourself on the back. Some of you might be looking and going, well, I put another comma in this sentence. And so let's check to see if you put your comma in between pizza and. And the reason you want to put a comma between pizza and is now I'm following that compound sentence rule that I have two independent clauses that I want to join into one sentence. And when I do that with a comma and a coordinating conjunction. If you forgot to put a comma here, remember that at a wedding, there are two rings. The comma is for the guy, the coordinating conjunction is for the girl. You only showed up to this wedding with one ring, and good luck to you on that day. Now, some of you may have put a comma in between to and if. We don't want to put that comma there. If you put a comma in between to and if, you weren't following the rules that we talked about in the complex sentence video. In a complex sentence, when we write in the ID pattern, we don't put a comma between the independent clause and the dependent clause. The parents are welcome too is an independent clause, which means I do not need a comma to separate to and if. That part of my sentence is correct. And so the sentence you're looking at now is correctly punctuated. Some of you may have tried to get a little bit creative and say, well, can I use a semicolon in these sentences? And the short answer to that question is yes. You'll notice that in between pizza and the, I have placed a semicolon because that's the other compound sentence rule that we talked about. If we have two independent clauses and they're talking about basically the same concept, we can put a semicolon in between those two sentences. And that's exactly what's going on here. Just remember, if you used a semicolon, make sure you took that and out. The and is no longer necessary. So make sure you took that and out. Also make sure that after you use a semicolon, you're not capitalizing the word that comes after the semicolon. If you'd like more help with these compound complex sentences, feel free to send me an email at the address you see there on the screen or stop by my office during the office hours listed in your syllabus. If the Writing Center has better hours for you, feel free to check them out in L200. And then for those of you that prefer online learning and distance learning, check out the website put on by Purdue University at the address on your screen.